We are back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. Metro Vice Mayor Jim Shulman with us this morning, taking your calls, questions, and the like about the city after the 4th of July. We were just talking about the Delkey-Hambrick case that ended with a plea deal before the trial even started. We've got some folks who have called in, so we'll take some of these calls, see what you think about that or any other issue, and we'll go next to Ken. Ken, good morning. Hi, Ken.
Good morning. About the Delkey case.
That's Ann.
That's Ann. I'm sorry, that's Ann.
Good morning.
Okay, go ahead, Ann.
Yeah. Concerning the Delkey decision,
yes.
A lot of the residents of Davidson County feel that not only was the defense protecting the police department, but the DA's office was also protecting the police department throughout this entire process. And then when it was announced that Delkey would never be sent to a prison and was going to spend his time here in Davidson County being protected by people that he knew, that was pouring more salt into the wound. The Hambrick family had spent 3 years being told by the DA's office they were being protected to put their faith in the system, and then were never even contacted. And throughout the day, found out via the internet that this plea had been reached, which was so disgraceful that itself sent shockwaves throughout this city. So I'd like your opinion of the officials that did this deal, and if it had been your family member, either one of you, how would you respond if you found out the person that didn't go to trial but took a plea was never going to spend a day in the prison system after having been convicted and stating, yes, I am guilty of this, but was going to go spend his time in the local sheriff's jail where he would be protected, because that is what sent shockwaves on top of everything else throughout this city. And that is why this case will not be dropped, and that's why no one has heard the end of this.
All right, Ann. And, we should just say this, though, as far as always protecting. Just keep in mind, it was this district attorney that chose to charge Delkey with first-degree murder. So to say that they were protecting him from the beginning is not true, because if that was the case, they never would have charged him in the first place. But clearly something changed. And I understand everything else she said about moving forward. And yeah, they did not, at least according to the family, consult with them in any way. And let's be real clear, we've talked about this before, district attorneys are not required to consult with the families in cases, and they certainly don't have to abide by whatever the family's wishes are. They still decide on their own, but oftentimes it is a common courtesy, or they want to take that into account and do. So there's that, and then there's the fact that he's going to be spending time in the Davidson County Jail instead of the state prison system, which I think Ann makes 2 points that there are some people scratching their head about that.
And where Ann is very eloquent in her argument, and I see the points. Again, I guess what I would go back, and I'm a lawyer, I'm not a criminal lawyer, but I understand that there are, you have to look at the facts as they're presented and figure out what you've got. I don't know. We don't know all the facts. There's not going to be a trial, so we may never know all the facts to this thing. And I don't know what went into the reasoning behind it. I know that, as the district attorney said, this has never happened before in terms of prosecuting a police officer, and obviously there is a sentence now. But we don't know all the facts, and we don't know what might have happened if you'd put 12 people up there to see what was going on. These cases get settled all the time. This is one of the most high-profile cases we've ever had in Davidson County, if not the most high-profile case. I don't know what went into the reasoning. I'm not sure what happened with notifying the family. I'm not sure about all that stuff. That's not done through us. And that's not to say that, we're all a part of government. We're all a part of Nashville. We don't know what was going through in terms of the thinking. This is not, the best I can tell you, Nick, is that I mean, from our standpoint, when we get into an issue from the council standpoint, we spend a lot of time thinking through these things. It's not like spur of the moment. I assume there was a lot of agonizing hours trying to figure out what to do in this situation based upon what they had, the facts, what they were hearing, all those things, and they made a determination.
Clearly, I think some things really developed on that front. Facts and what the case was and how weak or strong the case might have been just within the last, few weeks leading up to this, because this has been 3 years coming, all right? And time and again, I asked people close to the case, any talks of a plea? No way. They are locked in and they're working super hard. I didn't have contact with Glenn Funk directly, but early on, before there was a gag order, I had contact with David Rabin and others. You're saying no one ever saw a plea deal coming on this.
No, I thought it was going to go to trial.
It literally developed, I think literally within the last 2 or 3 weeks, maybe, or even shorter than that. It could have been a matter of days. But I do believe it had to be a calculated decision by the GA not to consult ahead of time with the family. I mean, you don't just not think of that. There had to be a reasoning. They sat down, maybe because they knew how the family would feel about it anyway, and it wouldn't take them anywhere. I don't know what it was, but I mean, there had to be calculated, because there's no way a DA, who I know is an intelligent man, doesn't consider the possibility of, well, do you think we should run this by the family? And so there's a reason they chose not to, if indeed you understand what the family said, which was that they didn't know about it until it was already a done deal pretty much.
There is, all I can tell you is that on things like this, I can't imagine the number of hours and trying to figure out what is, based upon what your information is, what is the correct way to proceed and the decision making. And I know that doesn't make people feel good. I know Ann was saying, trying to put us in the place of the Hambrick family, in terms of it's never going to be enough. You can't have a family member or a child. That's not. It's never going to be enough. I understand that. It would never be enough.
And aside from whatever facts of the case are, I can understand how the family would feel betrayed from the DA under these circumstances, simply because they thought all along they were going to get a trial. That was the guidance they were given. That's what they thought. They were going to at least have their day in court and let a jury of peers decide this. And then that was pulled away from them. And I know the cousin just kept saying in court that day, we never got a chance. We never got a chance. So, aside from how you feel about the case, guilt or innocence, I just think that I can understand why the family was caught off guard. And I think we may have one of the family members on the horn with us right now. Vicki, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, is this Vicki Hambrick?
Yes.
Hi, Vicki. We were just talking about the case, as you know. What would you like to say?
I want to say this. I want to say that I didn't sell my son out. Glenn said on the radio yesterday, I sold my son out. I would never did that.
I didn't hear that. Who said you sold your son out? I did not hear that.
Glenn, he was on 92Q.
What did he mean by that? I don't understand that.
That I wanted the money. I didn't want to go to trial. That's a lie.
What?
I'd rather went to trial. Let me finish.
Sure.
I'd rather went to trial than y'all give me the money.
Of course.
I told him Thursday, and it just seemed like it was just a smack in the face. I told him Thursday I wanted to go to trial. I said it twice. And Ms. Kimbrough said, Ms. Hambrick, he already got his mind made up. He's not going to take it to trial. I think that's mighty low down and dirty of him. And I see his true color. I don't think that's right at all.
Vicki, did he ever?
I put my trust in him.
I know you did. Did you, at any point, did they consult with you, or you just found out after the fact that they had already made the plea deal decision? How did that happen?
I found out Thursday.
Okay.
I was ready to go to trial. I was so happy. And about clothes and everything. I was ready to go to trial.
I know.
My pastor had prayed with me. I was ready to go to trial. But this was just a smack in the face. My lawyer didn't know until late Wednesday night. She said she didn't want to call me until the next day, and that's what she did. So Glenn can stop lying on her and saying that she been knowing about this. That's a lie. She ready to go to trial. That's a lie. So he need to get it together. But it's not over with. It's not over with by a long shot.
What do you mean by that?
Like I said, it's not over with.
You still want answers?
Just leave it at that.
Okay, okay. And
I don't want no answer. I don't want no forgiveness or nothing. It's not over with. That's all I got to say.
Vicki, thank you for calling in.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Again, you feel the pain in her voice.
Sure.
And you saw her reaction in the courtroom. Again, I did not hear the radio interview she was referring to. Look, there can be civil settlements in cases and the case moves forward. You need to look no further than George Floyd in Minnesota. They settled with the family there for millions of dollars, and then that case went to trial, and the criminal trial was resolved, and Derek Chauvin was convicted. So I don't know the context of what she's saying Glenn said, but the fact that there was a civil settlement should have zero bearing on whether or not there is a criminal trial.
Just you can hear the pain in her voice, and like I said before, there's nothing, and money, cases, anything. It's never going to be right here.
Yeah, I appreciate her calling in. She's called in before, and glad to hear from her again as things develop. And let's take a break on that note. When we come back, Taylor and Linda and others will take your calls as well, as we're sitting with the Vice Mayor on this Tuesday after the long 4th of July holiday. More of your questions right after this.